San Diego's only News at 4, only on NBC7 San Diego.
Local volunteers having to call it quits because gas prices are getting too expensive. I'm Consumer Bob. I'll have their story coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, we've been talking about gas prices a lot lately, and here's something you may not have thought about. The impact of it could really be hurting some local charities.
That's right. So many nonprofit groups that rely on volunteers are finding some cannot afford to donate their time, their money, or their miles. NBC7's Consumer Bob has more on that.
Yeah, a particular charity I focus on today, and you can understand quickly why it's hurting. There is no way that Meals on Wheels can exist without volunteers willing to get in their cars and deliver food to people who can't get out. But it's getting more and more expensive for those volunteers to do their job. And some, sadly, are calling it quits.
How's everything with you today?
Pretty good.
That's good.
Bud Dyke delivers another lunch on his route for Meals on Wheels.
Cold dinner.
Bud and his wife Julie have been volunteers for nearly 16 years.
Oh, you do have to hit the road, and the people that we deliver to can't get out.
But hitting the road is getting a lot more expensive. The routes can run anywhere from 5 to 20 miles, and some volunteers with Meals on Wheels can't keep up with rising gas prices.
We've seen it happen so far in the last 2 weeks. We've lost 30 or so volunteers.
Each pin on this map represents a person getting a meal. 1,100 seniors served by 150 volunteers getting behind the wheel every day. But some of those volunteers cannot keep up with the growing financial demand.
They end up quitting, and then the rest of us do 2 or 3 routes.
So for some volunteers, every gallon prices go up. It means they have to cut back on miles helping others.
I think that in the end, there'd be too much for the volunteers to keep up with it.
Oh, I'll go around the corner.
Yes, go around the corner left.
And that's a big concern for Meals on Wheels and other charities that count on volunteers to donate their time and in many cases their means to help the charity survive.
They'll go down to 1 day a month instead of a minimum of 2 days a month, or they'll quit altogether because they just can't afford the gas prices that are out there.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right.
Have a nice
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
But Bud and Julie say they'll continue to drive the routes, delivering food to people who look forward to their visits. At the same time, they'll be watching the cost to drive these streets go up every week. Meals on Wheels has 95 routes throughout the county. The average age of the people they visit is over 82 years old. And many of the volunteers, as you can imagine, are also seniors. That's why it's hard for them to absorb these higher prices.
Well, a lot of people watching that story probably want to know how they can help. What can they do?
Well, here's a few things. Of course, they're looking for more volunteers. If you can do that, they would love to have you. Also, some companies and corporations in town have joined an Adopt a Route program. That's where the company offers volunteers to drive one of the routes at least 2 days a month. But there's one more thing you can do to help those drivers. It's very clever, and you can do it from home. I'll tell you all about that on the news at 5. There is one more thing, and I think people will enjoy that.